The true man wants two things, Nietzsche once wrote: danger and play. For that reason, he wants woman the most dangerous plaything. Harsh words, uncomfortable words, easy to quote, easier to condemn. But beneath these lines lies something far more complex, far more dangerous than mere insult. For Nietzsche, woman is not simply a gender, nor merely an object of desire. Woman is symbol. Woman is force. Woman is the mirror of the eternal contradiction within man himself, between desire and destruction, between idealization and resentment, between the will to dominate and the will to lose oneself completely. To dismiss Nietzsche's words as mere misogyny is to miss the deeper tragedy he was trying to expose. To worship woman as goddess or demonize her as temptress, both, for Nietzsche, are the same mistake. And so today, we will not look away. We will walk into the heart of Nietzsche's most uncomfortable reflections. Not to defend, not to condemn, but to understand. What is desire? What is power? What is woman? And what is man? Stay with me. This is not a hit piece. This is not apology. This is philosophy. Chapter 1. Nietzsche and the Problem of Woman. From his earliest works to his last fevered writings, Friedrich Nietzsche returns again and again to the question of woman. Rarely gently, never clearly, he praises her as life-giver. He condemns her as manipulator. He desires her. He fears her. But who is woman in Nietzsche's schema's philosophy? Not simply the biological female, not merely the lover, nor the mother, nor the wife, but something larger, something older. Woman as archetype. Woman as the symbol of becoming. Woman as that which resists the will of man, that which provokes him, that which calls him either upward toward greatness or downward into resentment. In Nietzsche's eyes, woman is not the enemy of man. She is his mirror, and mirrors are dangerous. Chapter 2. Desire and the Shadow of Resentment. What does it mean to desire? Nietzsche asks us not to trust desire. For desire, unchecked, does not love the thing it reaches for. It seeks to possess, and possession turns quickly into hatred, into ressentiment, that deep, poisonous envy Nietzsche saw at the root of morality itself. Man desires woman, Nietzsche suggests. But man also resents woman for being the thing he cannot fully control. He lifts her onto a pedestal as the ideal. He blames her when the ideal does not obey. Thus, desire collapses into violence, and love, untended, rots into contempt. Nietzsche's lesson here is brutal. The danger is not in woman. The danger is in man's weakness, his need to own what should remain free. Chapter 3. Aphrodite and the Will to Power. At the center of Nietzsche's philosophy burns the idea of the will to power, the drive of all life to expand, to assert, to overcome. Woman, in Nietzsche's writing, often becomes the image of power itself. But power, for Nietzsche, is not mere dominance. It is not violence alone. Power is creation. Power is seduction. Power is the ability to shape the world without lifting a blade. Here lies the paradox. Man, obsessed with conquest, sees power as force. Woman, in Nietzsche's imagination, wields a power more dangerous still, the power of attraction. The power to command without coercion, to bend without breaking, to rule through beauty, charm, and the promise of desire. And it is this power that terrifies, that draws, that offends. For man wants to conquer, but how can he conquer that which conquers by yielding? Chapter 4. The Idol and the Abyss. Woman as projection, man as prisoner. Nietzsche warns us, beware of ideals, beware of idols. When man desires woman, often he does not see her. He sees his own idea of her. He makes of her an idol, the virgin, the muse, the temptress, the mother, the saint. Each one a cage of expectation. Each one a mask placed upon her face, crafted not by her, but by the hands of those who wish to possess her. But here is the tragedy Nietzsche exposes. The man who idealizes woman imprisons himself. The higher he builds the pedestal, the deeper grows his resentment. For no living being can match the perfection of the mask. And so the cycle repeats. Worship becomes frustration. Frustration becomes anger. Anger becomes contempt. The fault, Nietzsche shows us, is not in woman. It is in the false expectations we bring to the encounter. He writes, "Are you going to women? Do not forget the whip." A line often quoted in outrage, but rarely understood. The whip, perhaps, is not for her. The whip is for the self, the discipline required to approach the other without illusion, without projection, without the weakness that turns desire into domination. Chapter 5, The Eternal Feminine, Beyond Gender Toward Becoming. And yet Nietzsche's thinking does not remain trapped in the war between man and woman. For at its core, the eternal feminine in his work is not simply the woman of flesh and blood. It is something beyond gender. It is life itself becoming, motion, flux. The force that creates, seduces, destroys, and renews. The wild, untamed aspect of existence that refuses to be pinned down, refuses to be owned. Woman, in this symbolic sense, is not the object of desire. She is the embodiment of becoming. And man, when he is honest, when he is brave enough, must learn not to conquer her, but to dance with her. To meet life not with chains, but with open hands. Not to grasp, but to join the flow of change. Nietzsche's eternal feminine calls us beyond the static, beyond the fixed, beyond the rigid lines of category and control. Toward risk, toward play, toward the dangerous joy of life itself. Chapter 6, Zarathustra's Daughter, The Birth of New Values. In the final pages of his greatest work, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche writes of the coming of the child, the symbol of new beginning, of innocence, of the will to create. But what if the child is not male? What if the child is daughter, the one who inherits not the rules of the past, but the freedom to shape the future? For Nietzsche, woman, both literal and symbolic, is not meant to be the mirror of man's weakness, but the challenge that calls him to strength, not to dominate her, not to possess her, but to meet her as an equal in the dance of creation. And perhaps this is the deeper meaning behind the harshness of his words. Not hatred, but a ruthless rejection of the false images we impose upon one another. Nietzsche calls us, men and women alike, to step beyond the mask, to stop seeking the ideal outside of ourselves, and to begin the harder task of giving birth to the self. To become not what we are told to be, but what we will ourselves to become. Closing reflection, the flame between opposites. In the space between man and woman burns a fire of longing, of fear, of hope. Nietzsche did not extinguish this fire. He did not tame it. He refused to lie about it. Instead, he held it up for us to see. Naked, dangerous, beautiful. For between desire and power, between play and danger, between man and woman, there lies the question of life itself. Will we seek to possess, or will we learn to dance? Will we chain what we desire, or will we set it free and risk being changed ourselves? Nietzsche's philosophy, harsh though it may sound, is not a call to war. It is a call to honesty, to the courage of facing the abyss between self and other. And in that abyss, to light the flame and keep it burning. If this reflection has stirred something within you, if it has awakened the tension, the hunger, the question that lies at the heart of love and power, then share this journey. Subscribe, reflect, and join me as we continue to explore the forgotten wisdom and dangerous beauty of the philosophers. May you meet life, not as conqueror, but as creator, and may you hold your desire like a flame.